Hello everyone, it's Free to Play Bust. We're starting in on Legends of Runeterra. Um, I haven't, I'm not real sure how it works, but with the expeditions and running through the prologue quests, but I got a free draft ticket out of it, so we're going to go ahead and run through that. Um, I got like probably 7 or 8 of them in during the last beta session. I don't think I played up to 10, but I'm kind of familiar with the expeditions. And let's just go ahead and take a run through it. They did edit a large section of the cards in the beta update, but I'm not super set on how those went. Looking at this, I was never too interested in playing Hecarim decks. I just didn't. I may just not have quite understood what you want the deck to look like, but I never had much success with it. And I'm also not a huge fan of Darius. He is pretty easy to upgrade, but he just doesn't feel like a high-powered champion. Although both of these units are pretty good. And then I am pretty happy with Fiora. The cards attached to Fiora here aren't very good, but she's a strong unit on her own. Challenger is a very powerful ability, and a 3/3 with Challenger is pretty good value. And then her ability is just super relevant. If your opponent has just a lot of bad creatures, or what you'll end up with a Fiora deck is you'll end up trying to put a lot of, say, like +3/+3 buffs on her, and her ability is just super relevant, and I feel like even more so in draft because it tends to involve a lot more combat with units that aren't very good. The only sad thing here is I don't think these cards are very good. I don't remember what capture even does. Game returns these plays. So that's okay. It's not great, but it's a piece of interaction to remove their units. And then I don't really like Vanguard First Blade, but the other thing to notice with him is he's an elite, and the elite tag is, at least in the last iteration of the beta, was a very good tag to have. So yeah, we're going to lead off with the Fiora here. And then with these, Shen plays very well with Fiora. On these other ones, much like Hecarim, I just don't think Callista is very good. I may not have understood what the Callista decks look like, but it felt like getting into this style of deck was a big ask. Like you're trying to get not only like cards like Cursed Keeper, he's good in like the Sacrifice deck, but then you also have to have the enablers to make this good. It always felt very hard to put together. And then this is the same Darius that we had last round. It's the same kind of deal. These units are good. I don't think Darius is very good, whereas I do think Shen is very good. And both of these cards play well with Fiora. Like Shen to give her barriers for free on the attack, the quick combat trick that should let her survive an attack, and then I'm not a huge fan of Spirit's Refuge, but it does kind of the same thing. So then you're moving into the non-champion picks. These cards are okay. This is building more towards a Shen deck than a Fiora deck, but they are both fine. I am a big fan of the elusives. I thought this was the deck I had the most success with in the last iteration of the beta. The big one being the 3/2 elusive for 2 that recalls a unit. He's extremely powerful. But both of these are okay. And then I don't like the Poros. Not really into the duelist. And so we're already kind of set on a few combat tricks. We don't want to have too many of them, and these aren't really premium ones. Single combat is kind of premium. Prismatic Barrier I don't think is. So we're just going to move in with these elusive units. And this pile is off color. This would be in kind of the Callista, Hecarim, Thresh kind of decks. And then these are okay. I don't really like For Demacia as a card. I much prefer the 3/3 that creates them. And Radiant Strike's very good. What you'll find out a lot is you tend to not play anything on the first turn, and then you curve on turn 2, 3, and 4. And having your backup spell mana with Radiant Strike is pretty powerful, although +1/+1 in a typical card game, you'd be getting a +3/+3 out of Giant Growth, but other games don't have spell mana. And so it's really hard to kind of see Radiant Strikes coming because it's so it's not rare, but it's not as common to be playing cards on your first turn. But here we're just going to continue on with the elusive cards. Sparring Student isn't that great, but he is an enabler for the 2-cost elusive unit. Here, these are okay but unexciting. Allegiance, I'm not super sold on that ability being good. We are mainly in whatever this is, Ionia or Aurea, whatever that is. And so this is probably not as hard to hit, but I'm not just a huge fan of that ability. Green-Glade Elder's okay if we're getting into the bounce deck. We really only have the one bounce unit so far, the Solitary Monk. And I'm liking this package over here a little bit more, just more aggressive. I think I might be talking myself into this. No, I'm going to take this more aggressive package. And here, this is still more of the kill your own units deck. We aren't really trying to do that. Riposte is a very good combat trick, although reinforcements isn't what we're looking for. If we were into the elite deck, reinforcements is extremely good, but we aren't really in that deck right now. And these are okay. Sown Seeds is not very good. Jewel Protector is very good. If you aren't familiar with the drafts in Runeterra, you do get opportunities to trade cards in your deck for other cards. And so we might be able to kind of trade out the cards we don't really want, like Sown Seeds. Going to Shadow Fiend, he's ephemeral. Deny is okay. Again, kind of like when I was talking about the +1/+1 card. You can build up spell mana in this game from when you haven't played cards, and so typically, like 3 mana counter spell is not that great, but a lot of times you are able to counter like a 6 or 7 or 8 cost spell with just your built up spell mana. And then over here, this is a pretty good pile. Green-Glade Duo is very good. The bounce spell's pretty good. And then over here, this is also a good pile. Don't really like Senna. She's okay. She's very aggressive. But without like the Lucian bonuses, I don't think it's that great. We definitely don't have Lucians. We'd rather have, if we're going to pick up another random champion, we'd much rather it be Yasuo. And so I'm going to go ahead and go with this one. It's going to continue on with the aggressive little package we got. This would be kind of like a blue-white Flyers deck if you're familiar with Magic. In this pile, both of these are good. Twin Disciplines is one of the better combat tricks. The Lifeblade is also extremely good. He plays much better if you're in kind of the bounce deck where you're giving the units in your hand +1/+1. Like there's the 1-drop that gives +1/+1. We throw the 3 costs that gives the units in your hand +1/+1, and then kind of bounce spells. You're just looking to build up to like a 4/5, 5/6 evasion lifesteal creature that usually closes out the game. This isn't really what our deck's looking to do. This is more of a elite Garen type pal. And then over here, this pile is okay. I feel like we're already doing pretty well on 2-drops with the two Glean Great, the two duos, and then the sparring students. So I don't feel like we need to kind of rush into these bad. They aren't bad. The Protector's a very good 2-drop. The Herald is not a very good 2-drop. But I feel like we're doing okay with the bottom end of our curve. So I'm going to take the stronger pile here. But given the choice of knowing this pile was coming, I would have taken the 2-drops because did this just crash? Okay, both of these are okay. We are happy with a second duo. Life's Refuge, Spirit Refuge is kind of whatever, but that looks like the better pile here. I do like Key Guardian. We might end up wanting this pile. We don't really have any way to interact with our opponents except for our combat tricks. We only have the one challenger unit in Fiora, and so these detains might turn out to be good. And then this is just a fairly weak pile over here. So let's take the Key Guardian and the detain. This is the pile of cards that I really like, that make me really want to be in this style of deck, is the Inspiring Mentor and the Conspirator. But let's see what else we have here. I'm not a huge fan of the Lookout. He usually gets value, but this isn't the kind of deck that can get consistent value out of this turn after turn. Our deck's probably only going to get it once, and we already have one Life Blade. Then over here, this is an elite deck pile we don't want, but this is a good set right here, the Mentor and the Conspirator. This is also a pretty good pile. This is just an all-around solid unit. The Challenger is strong. He would be only our second Challenger unit, which is something that we like. Conspirators are extremely good. On these other piles, again, the Lookout isn't that great. The Barrier's fine, but it's not something I'm real excited about. And then this is in a deck we aren't playing. We aren't in like a Zed deck or the Ephemeral deck. The Keeper of Masks is okay. He plays fairly well in the Evasion deck that we're putting together, but it's the single Keeper of Masks with a bad death mark is not nearly as good as this pile over here. Looking at these are both good units. If you're in the elite deck, this would be a extremely strong pile, but our curve is okay. If our curve looked pretty bad, then we could look to pick up this Damashite Steel pile. So looking over here, I don't want to stack up too high on spells. These are both pretty good spells, but I do like the Life Blade, and I feel like Twin Disciplines is one of the more premier spells. So I'm going to take this second pile. The Highwayman is okay. He kind of plays well with what we've got so far. We do have the two Conspirators and we have the two Monks, but we don't have a lot of pump to go with them. You're usually trying to make these they are a good value with no buffs. If you think for a 2-drop you're expecting to get 5 stat points and this gives you 6. And then it combos with other things like the unit that gives all your guys +1 attack. But he's not a super exciting card at this point, but this is probably the pile we're going to take. I think we're kind of good on, we're definitely good on detains. I don't think I want more than 2. And I also don't think I really want more than 2 Life Blades. So these are good cards, but I don't think this is more of what we want in our deck. And over here, Solitary Monk's not super exciting. And then Deathmark we aren't really playing. So we're going to be taking this Highwayman and Elder pile. Don't know what these are. These go in the sacrifice deck, more in the sacrifice deck. Succession is pretty good. Because, like I said, if you skip out on your first turn, you don't play anything on the first turn, you get a spell mana, and then you can play this on turn 2. And the Dauntless Vanguard is a fine unit. 3/3 for 2 is good. But I'm going to be looking at this pile over here. We're kind of light on top end. We don't have anything that costs more than 5. And so the Jewel Protectors will help us win the game. And that's a second Highwayman that's kind of on theme. And like I said, this is the kind of trade section to where in this you don't have sideboards, you don't draft over top of the size of your deck, but you do get the opportunity to trade out cards that you don't want for something that's potentially better. All 3 of these cards over here are very good. I'm not real excited about getting rid of Rush. That just plays so well with Fiora. But it doesn't play super well with everything else that we're doing. But it does have access to a Greenglade Elder. The problem with the Elder, we'd much rather have Inspiring Mentors than the Elder. It's just so much slower to get his bouncing going back and forth. Key Guardian, I just want to keep. It would be better if we had more Challenger units. We only have Fiora and who's it? Fiora and Yusari. And then the Detain, I definitely want to hold on to. If we don't have any way to deal with large units, this is really our only way to interact with our opponent's units besides our 2 challengers. So we're definitely not getting rid of Detain. I don't think I want to make any of these trades, so I'm going to skip this one. Let's get moving with this. I'm not sure if you're familiar with expeditions, so I'm not real sure how I want the format to go. I'm pretty sure we're just going to play straight through, but in between each of your games you have the choice to kind of edit your decks. And so it's a little bit different than you would see with like Magic, where it's like, you just draft and you're done, or you're playing a Hearthstone arena, you play the arena and you're done. You're editing your deck the entire way through the expedition. So here I'm gonna keep the Shadow Assassin and get rid of the other 3. We can play this on 3, but likely we'll end up just playing it on 4 because it won't be able to attack. And then I don't want combat tricks. We need more early units, and we didn't have any combos for the monk. The Sun Seeds can play well here. What I think we'll be looking to do here is we're going to play the Highwaymen to go ahead and get them on board, because the next turn we're going to be looking to play the monk and return everything. And so this is kind of okay here. If he plays a 2/2, then it's just kind of whatever, and we can just pass. But we should, unless the challengers are main unit, then we should be getting a second set of value units out of it. I have to imagine he's going to challenger my unit that does stuff. He wouldn't just be putting a free attack out here. That's okay. I want to start getting units on board, so I'm going to go ahead and sow seeds to make the units in my hand good. And then I'm going to bounce back the Brigand with this Conspirator.
Time for a leap of faith.
This is where things get awkward with the Monk. We're not super excited to play the Monk and then return the Conspirator. We kind of want some of our value units out here. He will be able to just kill this. He made another Challenger Hawk. We won't be attacking with anything else in our hand. I guess we can make this a 3 toughness. He should never be able to block our Conspirator, so we should be able to safely play units before we attack. If you're not familiar with Runeterra, you will run into a lot of spots to where you just want to attack first, so your opponent doesn't get a chance to play slow spells or play a unit that's bigger than what you already have on board. But what I assume is going to happen here is we're going to be playing the Elder to make this a 3 attack, attacking with both. And then it looks like his turn he's probably going to try to play the Challenger Hawk and then a 3-drop. Not doing that at all. That's fine.
What would you wish to learn?
Let's go ahead and buff our units and get in. And we're more than okay with this. We're really looking for the opportunity to get our Monk on board. That's if the top card of their deck is Shadow, then they get a free unit. Looks like they didn't get it.
Alone, we see things as they truly are.
The boo's talking.
I'm not quite willing to block his Wraithcaller. I will do this block. If he has like the deal 1 damage and make a Spiderling or something, that's fine. But this will never need to get into combat again. And so he shouldn't really be able to interact with it without a spell. And then here also I'm okay with, well, I don't think we want to play the 2-3. He'll be relevant as a 3-4. So we aren't really at risk of dying, so I think we're okay to go ahead and start playing out these other elusive units without worrying about trying to go with big value plays.
Hey, Krabby!
That's my resting face.
I don't I can't remember, but I don't think Demacia or Shadow either have elusive units. So these should be pretty safe attacks.
My shield is yours! Silent as death.
That could be big too, being able to give something lifesteal. We can't use it this turn, but if he tries to all-in us next turn, then that could be a very big draw. That's okay. We aren't real happy to lose our big unit there, but we did get a 3-for-1 out of it. We are protected from his challenger unit. We're good to just go ahead and buff our units now and see what he does. We're kind of assuming he's going to try to pick something off with the Lancer. I don't think I would really want to detain it. I think I would rather spend the Spirit's Refuge. Do we want to protect this? Because what's going to happen is he's then going to challenge our duo. We don't have mana to play both of these. I think we're just going to have to be okay with losing.
Hey boss, what we go?
We'll play the Brigand. I don't want to keep all this mana up. And then depending on what he does, yeah, if he's going to challenge something, we can play the Refuge. If he didn't challenge anything and just passed, then we would have probably detained this. Here, I don't think we want to challenge anything. I was thinking I was going to get a trade off of this, but I did the math poorly.
Return to us.
He hasn't lost any champions.
Let's move.
And then I'm going to want to build up my spell mana again. We're probably going to have to detain something on his turn. Maybe not, but... What's happening here? Don't know why he would do that. Oh, to go back to his hand. I didn't quite catch what happened there. But
Show them what we're made of.
so he only has 4 mana. How many units can we play next turn? We could play 1, 2, 3 units to make this a 5, so we should be having lethal. I want to just go ahead and detain this one. If he tries to get too far out of line, we can detain something else, but I think this will probably be enough. We don't really want to block any of these two anyways, we just don't really want to be taking lethal. How much is this going to cost next turn? 6 and 5, 11. We'll have 10, 13. Okay, I think we should be good. He's only holding that that big unit he returned to his hand. So this is a safe block. This is a safe block. We only go to 6. And then next turn we should be able to play 3 units and get in for 9.
Final lesson.
We can even just play the life blade instead of the
They cannot
first.
strike what they cannot see. Don't get in my
Okay,
way.
so we're safe now.
Heard you're new in the area.
They'll never see us coming.
I go unseen.
And see, here's what I was talking about, as to where I don't think I want to cut the videos to where all of the deck picks are at the beginning of the video. So, because, like, watching game one, my deck would be different. You'd see the entire deck building process, but then the deck would be different throughout the course of the run. And that just seems kind of awkward. And so I think we'll just keep going in order, and then instead of linking to the games, I'll just link to the deck changing picks. But looking at what we have here, the Shen pile is okay. We do have quite a few barrier cards in addition to his ability. And then whenever he goes up, it's usually just a game ender if you level up your Shen. This is kind of an interesting package here with the 2 challenger units. Both of these units are extremely good on their own, and we do have a lot of combat tricks to go with them. And then this is a good pile for our deck minus Z. I think with these champion picks, you really need to be stacking your champions, because picking up things like if you draw your duplicate, like this is an extremely powerful card. Like if we draw the duplicate Fiora, this not only plays well with Fiora, but it plays well with Shen. And he's kind of the same way. If we take an attack with Fiora, we can, swap and barrier and things. And so they're both pretty strong. I think this pile here is just much stronger. We don't have really like a dedicated barrier deck to make the caretakers good. And these 2 creatures are so good. And so we're just going to take this Fiora pile here. Here we want a little more action. If we had more units, we could consider keeping the twin disciplines, but we're just looking to curve more beyond the feather, so we'll get rid of everything that isn't the 1-drop. That's okay. I don't... this isn't like a super powerful hand, but it should be okay. I'm not sure what happens here if these hold on to Challenger if you play a unit. So I have to figure out how that interaction goes. I guess we'll find out now.
Stay safe.
We can just get in 1 more damage here. He's only playing Freylord, and so we can play this and safely attack.
A true Freljordian welcome.
Not real sure how we want to handle this. Well, he's probably going to make the decision for me with his wolf. But, let's see. It's very awkward, him having this, because we can't just run out Fiora, because he'll just kill it. What we would have been happy with doing is playing Fiora this turn and Shen next turn. But also, if we play the monk, we're just going to lose out on this as well. So I think I'm just going to protect my units with the Challenger. We should be able to get in a good Shen challenge next turn, unless he just kills it with the wolf. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's
Twilight sees all.
see if we can get these combos going. It's hard. I think it's pretty hard for him to have a 4-drop that'll kill Shen.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
I guess Ash will do it. So what do we want to do here? I think we're just gonna have to support into Ash. And then we can try and protect our Shen with the spell next turn whenever he tries to kill it with this combo.
Swiftly now.
Arrows at the ready.
So we can offer up this block on Ash. A lot of how this turns out is going to depend on what units he has. We can go ahead and boost Shen. That should put us pretty far ahead if he doesn't have another Frostbite. We can even protect Shen against Frostbite. But okay, that seemed pretty strong. We do have the option of playing the Monk to try to bounce Shen back and get his health back up. I don't think we're super worried about that. I think we can get this Fiora online. Because when we attack with Shen, we should be able to protect it with quick attack. And then again here, we'll be able to, we want to attack first, so he doesn't have the opportunity to play more units or a slow spell.
Save the homestead.
Then, I'm going to be looking to play the Protector this turn, so next turn we'll have well, do I want to play him? I kind of want the full amount of spell mana next turn. We're just going to end up detaining this.
Victory lies ahead.
I'm going to put the detain on my small unit here. It just feels like he's going to be less likely to get in combat. With him just playing Freylord, he shouldn't have any removal spells. He could have like Avalanche, which would be a problem, but they're typically doing all of their combat work with Frostbites, and so he should need to do like Frostbite plus like the 7 mana card or something, which should take some work for him to deal with. That's what I'm getting at.
For the thrill of battle!
He's done. Our Protector's pretty bad here. We can just play it and buff the Monk. That would be okay if we felt like we needed to kind of get an all-in turn. That doesn't feel like what's happening against Tryndamere. But I do believe it will help us. We can get in for 3-7 non-damage, and then have the monk as a backup plan. I think that'll be okay.
Creature, there is spirit magic in you.
We are going to have a free attack onto his Tryndamere. Can we just kill him now? We got 4 in hand. Then we can hit him for 3, 7, 8, 9. No, we're a little short.
So I go.
Let them eat souls.
Justice by my hand.
Force him to block our barriered Fiora. And we'll probably end up detaining his Tryndamere next turn. We can also just take a hit from it. We have a pretty healthy life total.
Brothers born from battle.
It's 3+0, that's fine. And we're not going to play anything.
Took the bait.
We're getting to the point. We'll see what he does. We might end up just playing the monk on our next turn and just trying to kill him with elusive. The kind of scary thing is if we play the monk, it's going to we're going to lose this.
A lifetime of wandering.
And then whenever this returns to hand, he's going to get his unit back.
Everything's better with company.
Says you.
Attack!
So let's see, this attack's not super scary. So
Show me a target.
I don't see why he's wanting to attack with anything more than Tryndamere. Is that... Oh, it's 1 short. Okay. What is our Fiora at? Is she only at 1 kill? I think I'm okay with this. We can improve Fiora to a 4 health. We still have a better one if we need it. And then if he tries to do anything too ridiculous, we can still play both of our fast spells.
Not just flesh, rage incarnate.
So that's fine. So we'll just have to give her barrier. Or would we rather detain this now? Because the barrier won't kill it, that'll just protect Fiora. I think I'm okay with just detaining this. I think we can handle his Tryndamere. But this also would let us level up our Shen. Okay, I'm just going to detain it. That might be bad when we have the opportunity to deal with Tryndamere before he flips. But I think we're also going to have to consider here just playing the monk and then replaying the duo he'll have 2 units he can't attack with, and then we would get blown out by Frostbite. I don't think I really like that. I think we can handle his board before we have to worry about the Frostbite. How big does Trendemir get to a 9/9? We can just block it for a little bit. That's fine. We can even get this attack in and then replay our units. So I think I'm okay with this. I'm going to have to play a spell on Shen to protect him. I'm going to Challenger in Trendemir. It sucks he's going to flip, but we're going to have to deal with that anyways. And then he doesn't have real good blocks across the board. Actually, what if we do it like this?
Let them eat souls.
We can bury or lifesteal Fiora, gain a bunch of life, and then when Shen supports these.
My father's blade.
Okay, I think I'm happier with this.
Our wills align.
Can we just kill him? I think we probably should just go for killing him.
Tread carefully.
We might get frostbitten out of this, and that would be bad, but
As I expected.
okay. I don't think I'd have to go back and look at that last sequence. I don't think I played that well at all, but I was running out of time. There was probably a much better way to handle that turn. These are okay. This trade is kind of even. This is okay. I'm not really excited about having these first blades in our deck. Will of Ionia is very good. As you kind of saw in that last game, we don't really have a lot of ways to deal with units on board besides our detains. And you can also, if it comes down to it, you can use Will on your own units. The Solitary Monks I haven't been real happy with. Yusari is a good unit. But I think I'm okay with just keeping the monks online. Like if in that last game if something had happened to where we just played our 2-drop and it died, and then following up on 3 with an empty board and monk would be pretty good. So I'm not quite ready to get rid of these. I think I just want to get rid of the first blade for some interaction. This is a good unit, it's just not a good unit in our deck. This hand's okay. I don't really want the refuge in our opening hand, but it does curve out a little bit.
Just like we practiced.
Sparring students all in all unexciting.
Sweep the leg.
We would much rather that be inspiring mentor, but you don't always get to have everything in draft. here. I'm not real excited about playing any of these. I don't want him to just... I guess I'm okay with him trying to take down the mentor, or take down my elusive unit. The 1/1 rabbit's not that exciting, but okay, that's fun. He's taking a lot of time for not very much value.
The Order rewards its faithful.
Brothers born from battle.
Full speed ahead! Save your worlds. We speak with blades.
He's got Fiora. We're going to have to kind of protect our own. I'm just going to pass and see what he does with attacks. He's going to attack and we can play something after. And then if he doesn't, we're more than happy to just share boards like that.
We'll make quick work of you.
He does have 2 mana. I assume this is just what looks like a value attack, but I assume he's probably going to have a card here. And then if he doesn't, that's just super good for us. Nice.
Shadow. Hang on, Zern.
Then I can get my Fiora online. I don't think we're going to do anything with it.
They would fall by my blade.
Maybe we should have just held on to the mana there. But it does feel like a pretty threatening unit.
The power of our order.
That'd be, I mean, if it didn't, we would have switched to playing the Life Blade and still had 4 mana up. None of that seems particularly exciting. I think playing Fiora was fine. It really limits the units that he can play here. I'm just going to go ahead and get the value in. This is a pretty reasonably large attack to hit him for 4 down to 10. But I think we're still just kind of far away from flipping the switch and just doing full aggro stuff. That's okay. I wouldn't have been particularly happy with a combat trick, but it's not like we're getting tempoed out here. That was completely fine.
A cut above the rest.
Just gonna try to pop my Fiora here, or I don't think that's particularly scary. Like, we aren't really doing Fiora stuff this game. We're gonna win this game with our evasion creatures. So I'm just gonna play the expensive one again. It does kind of suck if he has a combat trick to try and take our Usari, but that just doesn't feel like what he's going to do. I think he's probably just scared of Fiora, because she's such a threatening unit.
My shield is yours.
Snow buries all.
You would be right to fear me.
I mean, so far that's all fine. I'm not willing to trade for any of these units. I can just put Fiora in front of this and try to treat her like a removal
Precision
spell.
and grace.
Like we can block here, and then on his turn, we can bring down his challenger. Okay, so that's another monk we don't really want. We do have 8 mana now, so we can play the Life Blade and then still use spell should we need to. I think we're going to be okay with just getting in with the 2 evasion units and then killing his challenger with Fiora.
Who does not know the name Laurent?
For the honor of
I mean, we're definitely doing this one.
Try me.
I think I probably do want to attack his challenger to protect my units on the back end.
A disgrace. Feed my cat.
Well, as long as we could protect protect our 2 evasions, we should be okay. Eight, 11.
Winter take you!
I think I do want to just go ahead and play this. I don't quite understand why he'd be frostbiting Isari. But I think we can still just replay a unit, have a recall if we need to, and then hit him with 3 evasion creatures next turn.
You're covered.
I want to get the Life Blade on board. He can block his 2/2 and lifesteal if need be. And then that still leaves us with a recall if we need it.
I sense fear.
So we're taking 12. He's going to have another. That seems quite strange to me. He would pump this. I'm just going to protect my unit. I'm really surprised he didn't try to pump one of his other units, but I can't imagine he would have 2 pump spells here. If he has that random Nexus Strike spell, that's, I mean, whatever, he has it. But it feels like that should be good for us.
Whose fall will mark my passage?
Okay, don't know what his last card is. We could get blown out by Frostbite here. Re-attack onto my lifesteal, but I don't. This doesn't feel like he played like he has additional things. Good deal. Okay, looking at this pack, we probably don't want Zed. This is a pretty high-powered set of units, but Zed is pretty bad here. We don't have any in our deck. We don't have any of the real build-arounds with it, but we might be taking this pack. The Lancer is okay. We are kind of looking for a little bit more top-end. Deny is fine. It's not real good. And this is also a good Shen pile. What's Shen's the swap thing. It's very expensive as well. This is kind of tough because I don't really want Zed. He's fine, like, but
What do you call that technique?
Prepared for anything.
Sweep the leg!
What did you find today?
There's always a way out. Don't want any trouble.
You died as you lived. Smelly.
I walk my path alone.
Grow free! Who's a good boy?
I need no weapon.
always 2 steps ahead.
Ready, willing, and learn.
Whew.
I got ways to find me mushroom.
Fast as wind, light as air.
Try me. No more mushrooms.
Many tribes under one banner.
The power of our order.
Today we fight as one.
As fate wills.
I have no time for fools. Fool them!
ready, willing, and learning.
We march as one, an unstoppable force.
Whew.
To victory!
You call that sneaky? Worth it.
Let none disturb my meditation.
I will unite the Freljord.
Two worlds, one balance.
Show me a target.
Immediately.
Break their spirits and their swords.
Enforced equilibrium.
I need no weapon.
Hardly fair.
The dark beckons.
Swiftly now.
Run them through!
Tread lightly, strike hard.
Aha! A disgrace!
I could learn from watching you.
My aim is true!
How'd you do that?
Avarosans, stand together! The time is right! Strike now!
Everything's better with company.
Says you.
They'll never see us coming.
Take heart.
Traditions are lost if not passed on.
Hey, Krabby!
That's my resting face.
Everything's better with company.
Says you.
A good mustache on this one.
Full speed ahead. They'll never see us coming.
We fight for those who cannot.
My shield is my sword. Have you met my shield?
Break their ranks!
By my honor, you must die.
It is easy, see?
Let's move! Full speed ahead.
These are dangerous lands.
My talons are frost, my wings the bitter winds.
And Brom is your wingman.
Demacia!
Time for talking. Ha! This is fun, yes?
Sharp blade, sharp mind.
Think before you strike.
I will not falter!
A final lesson.
Stay resolute!
They'll never see us coming.
Strike for the balance.
reporting in?
Fuse is lit!
Bring me tea to gain the strength of rivers.
Okay, ready.
How did that move go?
Alone, we see things as they truly are.
The party has arrived.
The fate of mortals and spirits falls to me.
This is awesome!
Ah, silence.
Always 2 steps ahead.
Draven, I love you!
Me too, kiddo. Me too. Enforced equilibrium.
Try me.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, have fans.
Everything's better with company.
Says you.
It shall rain ash in our wake. The Craven will fall!
Is this supposed to be a challenge?
Your move. Two down. The Order rewards its faithful.
Strike quickly, strike deftly.
Where's my axe?
Is he here yet? Oh man.
I salute you!
I'll do better this time.
Such unrefined style. As I expected.
quietly. Got what I came for. Catch me if you can.
Sturdy blades, custom made.
Hey, Krabby.
That's my resting face.
They would fall by my blade. To the field!
Full speed ahead.
Try me. On down.
I'm actually here.
Sentinels of light don't fear the dark.
Tales of our past are seeds for our future.
Form up!
Looking for this? I will teach you. My pocket.
For king and country.
Bring me tea to gain the strength of rivers.
Silent as death.
Let's move.
They cannot hide. Sentinels!
Raise the banner! Lift our spirits! We stand strong!
Hang on, Fuzzball.
Hey!
Ready to do my part.
Cythria, isn't it? Keep up the good work.
Taste steel!
formation!
Strike quickly, strike run. They'll never see us coming.
They will no match.